Hey y'all, Chris with a K here to talk to you about Survivor Season 50. Let's go over the first 6 episodes. Let's get started. Episode 1, so here we are, 24 contestants, which is insane, by the way. Right off the bat, you can tell that the entire cast is just as excited to be there as we are to witness them there. I've already talked about my thoughts on the cast in my Season 48 Part 2 video, so if you're curious about my more in-depth thoughts about the casting, feel free to check that out. Really, all you need to know is that Cirie is my horse in the game. She has been since day one, and I get fucking anxious every goddamn episode because I'm like, oh my god, please Cirie, just make it one more fucking week. The season starts out much like most of the New Era episodes where you have your challenge in the beginning that determines who gets their flint. One team wins and then the other teams have to then fight for their supplies. It ends up being Q, Coach, and Ozzy who end up having to retrieve a key with their big, long, sturdy staffs in order to get supplies for their team. And already the season is off to a great start because Coach, ever the great TV that he is, decides, fuck it, it's Survivor 50. I'm gonna go ahead and screw Ozzy right here in front of everybody on national television. So as Ozzy and Q are making this gentleman's agreement about how, oh, if you knock it off, I won't steal it, Coach is like, you know what, that's a great idea. And then he proceeds to steal the key away from Ozzy after he finally gets it off the ledge. Is it fair game? I think so. And it's interesting because they get on the beach at the very start of it and they're making their peace. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry for what happened in the South Pacific. For some reason, Coach is blaming Ozzy for losing the game as if it's Ozzy's fault that he lost that season, even though we all know that season belonged to Sophie. But I'm so glad that he's in the seasons that he's in because he's such good TV. This is just a great start to the season of like a promise of drama, a promise of initiative from these players. This episode also starts to lay out the groundwork of Genevieve versus Aubrey storyline, which pays off, of course, in the mid-season. And that's because Genevieve can't see another bad bitch and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucks with it. Obviously, I would say that that is to the flaw of Genevieve's game. And it's the same thing as she did with Rachel. And that's the shit that got her sent home the first time. We'll get to it. It's an introductory episode, so we go through the challenges, we go through all the bullshit, and then it's Sela that ends up losing. Already out the gate, I'm nervous. I'm already nervous because Cirie flubbed it for her team. Oh, Cirie, oh my god. Then we got Jenna, of all people. She's like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna play hard. Obvious thing to do, let's get Cirie out. But here's the thing is she starts talking about let's get Cirie out before the immunity challenge even begins. And yes, I know the obvious choice is to get Cirie out of the game as soon as possible because it's fucking Cirie. I understand, but I'm still not with it. Because when they fucking voted Cirie out in Heroes versus Villains, if they had not voted Cirie off, then the heroes would not have been so easily decimated like they were.
It was crazy.
So it's a double-edged sword because you want to keep Cirie on your team because no, she's not the best at challenges, of course not, and I don't think she'll ever will be. She is one of the best strategists when it comes to handling personalities and driving votes. Tribal Council and the moments leading up to it are Cirie's strong suit, which Jenna will soon find out.
You decided to come for me when I had zero intentions of sending for you.
After that Tribal Council, then we get a little bit more of an epilogue, and you know it's coming. You check the time, you got like 10, 15 minutes left of the episode, and Kyle did injure himself earlier on in the episode, so you kind of know what's happening. And then once you see Jeff, the Harbinger of Doom, enter the beach and start to walk up to the camp, you just know, you're in your heart of hearts, you're like, oh fuck.
Alright, I'm getting pulled.
Oh my god.
And now that we've had time to process our grief, we move on to episode 2, which starts to really establish Christian as the main character of this season.
My wife is going to divorce me.
Sela is taking up a lot of the storyline, right? You got Cirie and Ozzy. I do kind of love this team up. I'm a huge fan of like all the old school players. Coach, in this, after he hears that Ozzy's been talking on his honor, decides to make it clear he won't stand for it.
I really want to get as far in this game as possible with just a shred of dignity.
This is why you just got to appreciate that Coach is on this season because there's nobody else that would give you that TV. Nobody. No one would have the gall. I love to see Christian and Rick Devens. I didn't know that team up would be so beautiful, and I just love their friendship. They're both incredibly intelligent, they're both willing to play the game, and they're both excited to do different and fun things together. Especially with like the whole planting the idol thing. Brilliant. So excited for that payoff. This episode also introduces the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. Billie Eilish Boomerang. So we have this new gimmick, the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Sia, right? Because like she did the donations, like Sia's favorite character. It's a shame, you know. I would have liked the flowers to be given to Sia, but I do love Billie Eilish. Happier Than Ever, of course, right? Like that is like a masterpiece. But then also Hit Me Soft, Hit Me Hard, right? I think is the name of the album. Incredible. Like non-skippables. Like it's just like a masterclass. It's just so good. Anyways, they introduced this idol concept of basically give the idol to somebody else, and then if they get voted out with it still in their pocket, then it returns back to you. It has yet to pay off in terms of its usage, and now with Genevieve out of we'll talk about Genevieve, but with her out of the game and with her having found 2 idols, there's like only one other option for it to pay off, and that's with Aubrey and Christian. This episode also focuses on Savannah, who's the season 49 winner. Now, I haven't talked about season 49, but I liked it. It was cute. So Savannah's a winner, which is surprising to me because like her whole storyline was like, oh, people don't like me. And so when the finale happened, I was like, oh, Savannah doesn't have it. It's not going to happen for her because nobody likes her.
And it kind of felt like at times that you really did not genuinely care to get to know people personally that weren't in your trio alliance. And so I would like for you to please name one family member or partner of everybody on the jury.
I don't think I can do that.
But then she wins. And then that kind of plays into this one a little bit, where again, she has trouble making connections and she's constantly talking about like, oh, I just don't feel like I'm connecting with the people in this tribe. In her final speech at Tribal, she's saying like, I'm just like learning that I can just be myself. And I'm totally with that message. I think you should always be yourself. And it's always good to still grow and learn from people's reception of like how they react to you and stuff like that, because we are imperfect beings, but it is essential to be in your own skin and to stand by that. So I really like her message. I like her as a winner. I like her storyline, but it was all bullshit. Let's call it for what it is. It was bullshit, because if she was actually like connecting with the tribe, she would have told somebody, one person, about her advantage. But she walked back on that beach like she was fooling who? I'm not sure. Like she wasn't on a beach with all stars. Like nobody on this tribe is stupid. If she had told Christian about the advantage, I think genuinely she could have swayed that vote back to Ozzy, but she didn't, and that was pretty much her downfall. And also, like, again, if Cirie finds out that you're gunning for her or one of her people, it's over for you. And Cirie, she can turn a vote around like no problem, and she's so good at it. You just love to see her work. But congrats to Savannah for still walking out of the door as a millionaire. Episode 3, baby. Let's go. Boom, tribe swap. Thankfully, it makes it more interesting when it finally hits the merge. Different relationships have been formed. But this episode starts to cement that Genevieve versus Aubrey storyline. Like, again, they end up on the same tribe. And instantly, Genevieve's talking mad shit on her. She's like, you know what? I don't trust Aubrey. I don't like her. She's a stank-ass bitch. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting Tiff, of all people, to team up with Aubrey. But I love Tiff. I just really enjoy her personality. I just really, like, vibe with her. I didn't think that Tiff and Aubrey would be a thing, but they might just be, and that excites me. And with this tribe swap, we also get Emily just being kind of a fucking mess. She's going around telling Christian's business and what he's doing. Like the reaction that Christian had when Emily told him that she told everybody about the idol, he saw the face of God. She is kind of playing very sporadically, and you don't blame her. I like that she is like going for her own game, but I think she is being like very reckless. She's telling everybody. If her motivation was, oh shit, Aubrey is a threat to me, I don't want Aubrey and Christian getting close, so I'm gonna go to Aubrey's enemies and be like, hey, just so y'all know, this is what she's got. That would make more sense. But she's a mess. Like, I mean,
Why would you do this?
And then with the tribe swap, you also get what I would consider my nightmare blunt rotation of Joe, Coach, and Colby finally teaming up. I do love the moment when Coach goes up to Christy and he's like, you talk too fucking much. This episode also starts to establish the rivalry between the man, the myth, the legend, R-I-Z-G-O-D, Riz God, and then Charlie. All because, like, you know, Rizzo's saying, like, oh, no, I didn't vote for my number one, which was Savannah, I believe. And then, of course, Charlie took that personally because Charlie's still upset about the fact that Maria, his number one, cost him the game, which was such a scandal. Still love that ending, by the way. And then Rizzo's just like, kind of like, you know, la-di-da-di-da, having a good time. Riz God is my favorite character from season 49. He was like an instant classic. So refreshing, just to, like, so late in these seasons to get someone that's as charismatic and as strategic and fun and willing to play the game as he is. I'm really rooting for Rizzo. Like, if Cirie doesn't win, I do want Rizzo to take the crown. And I think that would be a really great ending for him too. And they keep kind of throwing in these confessionals about like, I want to be the best to play the game. And they did those confessionals in season 49 as well. I believe in this man. I think he might just do it. I'm on Rizzo's side 100% of the time, especially because like Charlie's motivation, it's not something like you're rooting for of like, oh yeah, he's going to really get Rizzo for that. Like, no. And then also on that matter, Rizzo lied. Rizzo did vote for Savannah. Roll the tapes if I'm wrong, but
I've played this game from day one with Savannah, and I'm super, super freaking proud of you.
so maybe he's trying to throw them off his scent of like, oh no, me and Savannah aren't that close. And if you want to try and argue that Sophie was Rizzo's number one, I would argue that that is not the case. Not only did they not start off in the same tribe together, but it was always Rizzo and Savannah from the get. So I just don't, like, the logic isn't there.
The math isn't mathing.
But I do love in these episodes, they're kind of establishing these storylines that do pay off in honestly just a couple of episodes, which is great. So David and Goliath, they take out Q, but you know, it's fine. I thought maybe like there would be good storyline for him and Tiff to kind of like resolve their issues, but honestly, they're not really even giving Tiff the time of day. Let's move on to episode 4. They took obviously a huge chunk of it for this guy named Zach Brown, whom I do not know.
I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
I just don't know. You know, I'm not a country girl. I'm an R&B kind of girl. I'm a jazz girl. He is kind of daddy as fuck, not gonna lie. Like, I love a salt and pepper man. I like it. I like him a lot. So I was kind of like into it in that regard. They gave him a whole, like, I want to say like 20 minutes of this episode. And they gave him a little concert. They gave him a little Ozzy moment. Good for him. It's really just like a slight continuation of episode 3. David versus Goliath. They're running that tribe. As I possibly suspected would happen, Mike White gets pretty full of himself. And to be fair, Jeff has been glazing him pretty much all the entire time up until this point.
You should not second guess interrupting one of the world's greatest storytellers who's dealing with a metaphor.
Like, okay, come on. We've all seen White Lotus season 3, Jeff. Let's take it down a notch, okay? Mike White now has main character syndrome. Unfortunately, not aware that the actual main character is Christian. Mike White makes the mistake of making Christian cry. He cries. It was a big deal for him. And so then at that point, that's when Mike signed his own death warrant because he's just getting a little too cocky. Christian is playing a fantastic game, and I think Mike really just underestimated him and also underestimated his influence. Of course, Emily again is doing that thing. She tells Ozzy like almost immediately that they're going to vote for Mike, even though Ozzy is like so adamant and very much against that.
We're leaving Ozzy out of this. He seems real close to Mike. He really likes Mike. Ozzy is absolutely gunning for a White Lotus cameo. He won't vote for Mike.
Also, though, like, put Ozzy on White Lotus, but he's like one of the sexy staff, you know, and that's like one of the characters of like, ooh, you know, there's gonna be adultery, and I feel like Ozzy would be great for that. They pull the greatest plot twist of all on Mike White and send his ass packing. But you know, he's chill. He's a cool guy. He's fine. He's also himself a little daddy, like with his fucking like abs and shit, like looking good. And you know he's been working at it because you knew he wanted to be ready. I do like the way it turns out that basically he was betrayed by his own peers. An appropriate White Lotus inspired ending for him. So now 5 episodes in, Jeff and the producers are like, oh man, we made this cast way too fucking big. We gotta start chopping these hoes immediately. So this episode has the double elimination, which is fine. I don't mind when they do send multiple people home at a time, because the cast is really big and we do really need to get to it, you know. Charlie's still on his bullshit about like, oh, Rizzo didn't vote for his number one, even though he did. Charlie's doing his whole thing. He's like, I'm gonna get my revenge on this person who did nothing to me. And then Rizzo hears about it and Rizzo's like, okay, cool. Well, we're gonna do something cute. We're gonna call it Operation Bad Blood because you're Swifty.
After tonight, there will be bad blood.
He's teaming up with the girlies, which is great because Rizzo is one of the girls. But then you start to see like this relationship develop between Cirie and Rizzo, and I'm loving it. I am a little nervous that Rizzo's gonna betray her in the second half of the season, which he would be right to do so, and it would, again, like if he is legend status, he just might be the one to do it. But for what it is right now, I do love them together. Rizzo's just so good. Like, he's in with Dee in the other tribe, he was in with Colby. Rizzo is just so charismatic, he's so receptive to people, and he adjusts accordingly. I think Rizzo is really a top-notch game player. On the other tribe, you know, everyone's dealing with the fallout of eliminating Mike. Ozzy really wanted that cameo, and I don't blame him. So now he doesn't trust anyone. He's playing a diva, which is like his whole thing. Like, Ozzy's a diva, always has been, always will be, and that's fine because we love a diva. We do. So he, you know, he's taking a moment, and Christian is like doing his best to soothe him, because Christian also has this really great skill of being able to just soothe people. He just needed to mend his fences with Ozzy. They're having a little lover spat, gives Ozzy his little shot in the dark to kind of establish that trust, so that they can all band together. And now with Mike gone, get rid of Angelina, because Angelina was an ally to nobody at this point. Jonathan's starting to become a little bit more of a main character, which I gotta tell you, if I was on that tribe, I don't know how I would be able to focus with him walking around with those bazingas. I mean, he looks good, right? Like, let's say what it is. He looks good. With that being said, he's obviously left out of the vote when they decide all to get Charlie out. The beauty of that elimination being that, like, Charlie has this whole speech when he votes for Rizzo at the thing.
The one thing that is getting you voted out tonight, that you betrayed your number one.
And then of course he gets sent home. I do love that Charlie's storyline essentially is that he was betrayed on his top 3 vote, loses it just by the 1 vote, and it like destroys him so deeply that like he still is recovering from it on his follow-up season. And because of that, like that drives his motivation for how he plays the game, and that's what ends up getting him sent home. I do love that. It gives him room for a 3rd follow-up season, but I don't think it's gonna happen. As soon as Jeff snuffs his torch and Charlie starts quoting Taylor Swift at him, Jeff is like, you gotta go.
Teardrops sound like it's
time for you to go.
Jeff doesn't even look at him as he walks out. And so now we get to the merge with 17 cast members. And then Jeff is like, don't worry, we are gonna go pagan on these motherfuckers.
Thy blood shall sanctify the land.
Before he has the opportunity to split everyone up, everyone gets on the beach together, and then the gossip starts. The girls are talking. And so now everybody's idol is out in the open. Everybody knows who has what, except of course for Cirie's extra vote, which only she, Ozzy, and Rizzo know about. And then Ozzy gets himself sent to exile, and then he chooses Rizzo to go with him, essentially giving them both safety without power. And you have the remaining 15 contestants split up into 3 tribes with 3 tribals to come from as a result. The way that the tribes are all split up, Chrissy's like the obvious vote because again, people don't really vibe with her. But Chrissy, you know, she was a runner-up, and that was the season with Ben, right? And he was a tough cookie, and she made it still all the way as runner-up. So Chrissy's not to be trifled with. So she's going around, she's like, oh, you know, I understand, and everything's fine. And then she goes up to Stephanie, and she goes up to Jonathan, saying, oh, we're made from the same cloth.
And you know, me and you are cut from the same cloth.
I know. That's suspicious.
So they all get teamed up, and really it's up to Jonathan at this point, who's been betrayed now for the first time in his Survivor career, apparently. So he decides he's gonna take out Camilla, which hurts, of course, because I love Camilla. Surprisingly, it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would, just because Camilla hasn't really been forefront of the season. I feel like she wasn't really driving as hard as she was in 48, and unfortunately, like, it's just that's the rub. So then they go ahead and hit me with the 1-2 punch. They send Camilla home right in front of my fucking face, and then they bring in the next troop of people, and it's the one where Genevieve is completely outnumbered, and I'm just like, fuck, and now they're gonna get rid of Genevieve. Oh my god. So like, it hurts, you know, it hurts a lot.
What do you think the odds are Christian really wants to work with me? More or less than 1 in 6.
More than or less than 1 in 6? I'm like, I don't know, it just tickled me so well. It was nice. It was nice. She's just so suave. Oh, I really love Genevieve, but she did not do herself any favors whatsoever. Again, this is like another situation, and kind of like with the Charlie thing of like, if you don't learn from your first go around, then you're just gonna repeat the same mistakes. I wouldn't say like it's like oh, she can't work with any woman, even though she kind of can't. If she had teamed up with Aubrey, there are other ways the vote could have gone. And then she does that thing, she hands Aubrey the coat, you know, how Aubrey starts to feel a little guilty. It's very much that kind of like ending of What Happened to Baby Jane. Let me try and do the voice on. All this time we could have been friends.
All this time we could have been friends.
You know the line. Have you not seen What Happened to Baby Jane? Have you not seen it? You should watch it. Oh, you should watch it. It's so good. And then watch Feud afterwards. Pair them together. That'd be really nice, actually. Give yourself a week, right? Like, watch What Happened to Baby Jane, and then watch like an episode of Feud, season 1 or season 2. You know, the one with Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. Oh my God. I hope it's Betty Davis. Such a bad gay sometimes, I swear. I hope Aubrey does wear it at one point, you know, but it's like, it's almost kind of like a little bit of a trophy, like she took Genevieve out. But it was painful, very painful for me, this episode, these eliminations, not easy to go through. But then they give me at least a little bit of a reprieve, almost kind of like a here you go, Chris, when they send Colby packing. Another direct result of Cirie doing her magic, because the vote was going to be on Coach, and Cirie knew better. Colby has influence. Colby has the respect of his peers. Coach does not. I didn't really think Colby was going to add much to the season. I was kind of correct, but I understand like his point of view, the kind of like aging champion looking back on his career or on his life over the past 25 years. You know, I'm sure we will all get to those moments of like self-reflection where we look back and we look at the choices that we've made. I thought that they give him a very good edit, like a favorable edit, much more favorable than they gave him in Heroes versus Villains. They also gave him a good send-off. Like his speech was really touching, obviously very moving, like he made the whole tribe cry. And even I was like, and I told you, I really don't care for Colby. And I was like, oh man, this is very touching. Like, oh, you know.
I just appreciate the opportunity to come back one more time.
But I still wasn't crying to see him leave, you know. Good for him. God bless you and on your way, Colby, you know? And so now we're pretty much caught up here. First half of the season, I just do love an all-star season, especially with like the cast members that we brought together and how all these different dynamics are turning out. My predictions for how things will turn out, like I've mentioned before, I want Cirie to win in my heart, in my soul. I want that crown for her, but I'm nervous. I think she's got obviously a long road ahead. If Cirie doesn't win one challenge, it's going to be almost damn near impossible for her. And I love Cirie. I love Cirie. But can she make a fire? I just don't know. She needs to have it together at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I could see for her, I don't know. But she's that good. She could convince whoever wins the final immunity challenge to bring her to the top 3. Who would be that stupid? But she's really good. Like, I don't know. I can see it for her. Like, that would be really incredible. If she doesn't win, or if she gets sent home, or betrayed by Rizzo, or however, then I think Rizzo winning would also be like a really great, satisfying ending, especially considering that he's like the freshest cast member of the entire lot. I do think they're setting up Christian for that win. They're giving him the storyline. They're giving him the confessionals. They're giving him all of the airtime. I mean, it could also be setting us up for like a shock elimination where they're like, oh my God, no, not Christian. I can't believe it. So they could do that too, but I feel like they're really setting him up. He's gonna make it far. For people who are going to be sent home next, I think probably Joe will be in that. Joe's like not budging with his gameplay, and in terms of like that group of like meatheads, I think Joe is probably on the bottom of that list. I don't think he has the storyline for a win, you know? But we'll see. Yeah, he could surprise us in the second half of the season. That being said, I fear for Tiffany. I do. I really like her a lot, but she's not getting any airtime. She's not getting any storyline. Aside from maybe her and Aubrey, but honestly, like Aubrey, I feel like is going to be more with like Christian and Rick. So I'm just not sure where Tiffany has a place in this second half of the season. I don't see the storyline for her, babes, and it kills me to say it, but I think she might also be heading out soon. The Mr. Beast thing still hasn't happened. Oh, God. I feel like I'm going to hate it. I'm sure I'm going to hate it. And I'm sure, like, I swear to God, it's going to be a fucking coin flip. I'm telling you, it's going to be a fucking coin flip. They're going to be like, we're going to flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Flip a goddamn coin? That's what we came up with?
Flip a coin.
That's lame as shit.
So what do you think about this season? Who are your favorite characters? Are you upset about some of these eliminations? Who are you rooting for to take the crown? If you got this far, feel free to leave a like, and if you want to hear more about this other bullshit that I'm going to talk about, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.